Hey you guys, Dani here. Today we are going to be doing the Fairy Tarot on this walkthrough Wednesday. So be sure to stay tuned after the walkthrough for our midweek reading, and I'll see you on the other side. So today we're doing the Fairy Tarot cards. This is a Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine deck. And while I'm normally not a fan of Doreen Virtue, for some reason I really kind of wanted to have this deck in my collection. It's in a nice sturdy box. You can see it's nice and full color. As far as the guidebook, I'm not even gonna lie. I've opened through it and flipped through it a few times, but I really haven't read it. I really can't tell you what's in there. They're black and white pictures of the cards. I didn't see any spreads, so I'm sorry I can't be more helpful when it comes to the guidebook. So you can see these are big cards. Higher, wider. They're not so comfortable in the hand. As we get into the cards, I want to do a little bit of a pro and con type deal with this one. I feel like that's the best way to get a good scope of the cards. So let's dive into the pros. This is a very lighthearted deck. It's easy to read, the pictures are easy to see, everything is color-coded. They changed the suits to spring, summer, autumn, and winter instead of our normal wands and things like that. They did change out excuse me, some of the names of the cards, so anything that was quote-unquote scarier has been changed for sure. So ego is the devil, life experience the tower. So there's a lot of things that are changed to kind of make it a little more lighthearted. The images do have a lot of intuitive hits. You can really see that there's a lot going on in most of these cards, so they can work very intuitively. This is great for a starter deck. If you're just starting the tarot and you don't really know a whole lot about it, it's a good way to dip your feet into the meanings of the cards, because they do kind of correspond with like a, Rider-Waite system as far as some of the descriptions at the bottom. They're really good for a daily draw, especially if you're coming from an oracle background, and they really do a good job of describing the court cards. You can see at the top there are keywords to each, so if court cards are very new to you, that's really helpful. I will say that. Kind of going into the cons, let's kind of get into this. Obviously, they're a big deck. It's hard to shuffle because it's hard to get in your hands, and it's really a stiff deck. Another con for a lot of people, it's Doreen Virtue, and I include myself in that. That is kind of a con to me, but I'm not going to go into that. This is, I mentioned it earlier, it's a light deck, but it's very nice washed. Not always a fan of that. I knew what I was going into when I got this. I knew it was going to be nice washed, and I got it for a specific purpose, but I do feel like that needs to be mentioned because it is definitely scrubbed nice and clean. It's a bit of a sticky deck because it is so shiny. I had to peel apart some of the layers of this deck. And then I kind of have an issue. Okay, at the bottom, you can see at the bottom of each card, there's a little like paragraph. There's some words at the bottom. These are supposed to be like main meanings, like the key phrases, but they're all kind of jumbled together. So like one sentence will say one thing and it'll immediately contradict itself. So it's trying to use the upright and reversed meanings. But the way that it's written, it looks like it would be a paragraph, like it would have one solid thing to say, but it has like 3 or 4 things to say sometimes, and I find that gets a little messy. It gets a little jumbled up. I like to focus more on what I'm seeing intuitively, the hits intuitively that I have, but I like to, it's there, I'm gonna read it, you know what I mean? So I wish they weren't so jumbled up. So this is a very specific deck. Like, you either love it or you don't, or you need it for a specific purpose. On to shuffling. I'll let you hear, you can see me kind of struggling to get these in my big hands. They do flow pretty well once you get them there, but they're stiff, you guys. They're really stiff. They do well overhand, though. The gilding is not so bad, but the first time you use it, you get glitter everywhere. I was like shocked and disgusted. But it goes away. Okay, let's talk about the wear and tear on these cards though. I barely use these cards. I'm serious. I could count how many times I pulled them out on one hand. But look at all the damage. And I mean, I'm not super rough. So yeah, not so good on that. As for my favorites, let's talk about this. I had a lot of trouble picking from the majors. The majors are not so awesome, you guys. But my favorite is the moon. Why? Because I love the setting. And I love the fact that it's not a full moon. There's not many decks that don't show a full moon for the moon. And I thought that that was very interesting. I love the long hair because it makes her seem extra magical. Like, I don't know what it is about it. And the reflection. I love that reflection in the water here. For the court cards, the King of Winter is my favorite because I love the look of him. He seems like he's super stern. He's been doing this for a long time. He's not one to be messed with. But there's also an underlying understanding and willingness to do the right thing. I don't know. I just see that in his face. And of course, I dig this owl coming out, showing that wisdom. Now, my minor arcana, the Six of Spring, to me is the most beautiful card in the deck because it looks like it could be straight out of a painting. The collage work is superb. The images look great. It's not really bad computer animated. You can see the pixels kind of thing. I'm going to go into that in just a second because I want you guys to see the difference. So I'm gonna do some cards that are my least favorite. So here we go. This is the main ones that I'm like, no. And they all have a common thread. I feel like the collage is not done well. First off, these all look, you can see this guy and this guy, they all look like they're taken from video games. And the reason I say that is because the type of like computer animated type of art against these backgrounds, just it doesn't work, and it makes it look super cheap. Not all of them are like that, but a lot of the major arcana are like that. But look at the difference between this computer animated kind of pixelated look and the other ones. It just made a huge difference to me in the look and the feel of those cards. So some of the artwork is just not up to par. But there you have it, guys. My review and walkthrough of the Fairy Tarot cards. All right. So let's go ahead and see what these have to say about what we need to look out for this weekend, the end of this week. This literally, I did nothing. Did you hear me shuffle? Literally, it did nothing. They both just came apart. Did you see the effort? That's ridiculous. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Let's do this. Let's do this together. What do we need to look out for the rest of the week? This just doesn't want to stay in, so let's do that. The 8 of Autumn. Let's see what it says. Do more research before proceeding. Education in the form of seminars, going back to school or apprenticeships, excellent craftsmanship, and long-term projects. You know, this really feels like a call to work together. This is a young and an old, but I feel like that really doesn't matter. I don't feel like it's so much a teacher that's needed, but a companion that's needed. And I feel like this has been pretty steady as like a coming together of people. I feel like over the past couple weeks, like there's been a common thread that I've been seeing, and a lot of it has to do with like, don't count someone out. you can't do everything by yourself. You have to utilize other people. And I feel like that could be as simple as, you know, like it kind of mentioned like a seminar. That could be a seminar, a workshop, a YouTube video, an article that you find, something that you stumble upon on Google. Like there's so many ways to work with someone else, even if you can't do it in person. However, I feel like right now, especially with the springtime coming, there's so many things blossoming. I know that's cheesy to say, but it's true. Like there's so many things that are like coming into light, so many things that are being birthed right now, not only within nature, but I feel like in this shift, there are so many little things that are coming to the surface. And it's like, I feel like one of the things that is really going to be important is working with other people. What I'm trying to get at is don't only seek out a non-personal route. You can, because it's easier, right? To Google something and do that. But also kind of keep in the back of your mind, let me try to find someone that I can actually talk to. Now, having said that, YouTube, you can literally pop in some comments and talk to someone. Or, you know, social media does provide that. Could be like over Messenger, sending emails, you know, so, but like, I feel like it's also a call to interact with each other. So if you can find someone to interact with, does that sound weird? But that's like where it's coming from. That's where it's going. Like, can you find someone to interact with? Can you find someone that's going to help you broaden your horizons? Because I feel like this is not so much a teacher. Like I said, this is not a teacher student. It's like a kindred spirit, someone to talk to and to share ideas with and to get excited about something with. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but that's kind of the message that I'm getting. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for me, if you want to book a personal reading, I got all the information below. You can find me on Instagram and my Patreon and all kinds of other places. So if you have any questions or comments, if you want to tell me how you like this deck or don't like this deck, pop those below and I will talk to you guys very soon. Mwah! Much love. Bye-bye.